Everyone and everything carries a story. Not always written on a page, but something you can feel. An invisible thread that ties us together and shapes who we are. Every step we take, every encounter we have with a place or person ripples outward and touches the future in ways that we will never fully know. For as long as humans have existed, we've told stories. First through voice and gesture, long before pen met paper. Stories have always been how we connect across time and culture, and how we remember what it means to be human. This story begins in Yosemite National Park, though not quite the way that I imagined. I am in Tuolumne Campground, and I'm heading towards Backpackers Camp right now. And while I was packing up my bag, I realized that I made a pretty huge mistake, and I can't believe that I did it. I forgot my hiking shoes. I'm literally walking in Birkenstocks. This is crazy. There's really only two choices. I can either send it in my Birkenstocks, or I can try to find some new hiking shoes tomorrow, which is kind of the last thing that I need to buy right now. I walked into Backpackers Camp with a pit in my stomach. I had forgotten my hiking shoes, which is not the best way to start a multi-day trip. For $8 a night, this camp was a dream. It provided bear boxes, picnic tables, fire pits, even flushing toilets. But in the back of my mind, there was still this nagging thought. How am I supposed to hike without shoes? It is getting dark so fast, but I need to cook dinner really quick. So I'm gonna get some water boiling. Gonna leave that going. I think my dinners are all at the bottom of this bear canister, so that's gonna be real fun. While that's going, I'm gonna set up in here. I really need to set up my bed. Oh my god, I'm lightheaded. Okay, so it's boiling. Okay, tonight's dinner is couscous. Backpacking classic. I got this fresh beef jerky from a local butcher shop, and it is so dang good. As the evening settled in, I cooked dinner, nibbled on jerky, and slid into my sleeping bag, still undecided about what tomorrow would hold. By morning, the answer was clear. Coffee in hand, chilled by the alpine air, I packed up my bag quietly and drove south to Mammoth Lakes to buy a new pair of shoes. This was a small detour, but it felt like such a big snag in my story. Honestly, it was a beautiful drive, winding through the mountains with no shortage of incredible views of the high Sierras. Well, I just drove to Mammoth Lakes, which is 30 minutes outside of the Yosemite entrance on the east side, so maybe like an hour away from where I camped last night. And I'm here to find some hiking shoes. There are a lot more outdoor stores here than there was in Lee Vining. There was only one and it opened at 10 and it's 8:30 right now, so I figured I probably had a better shot at just coming here. Got some new shoes. Never had this brand before, but they felt really good, they felt really comfortable, and they were on sale. So glad to find a pair of shoes that will work for me. So after all that, I'm heading back to Yosemite. Back on trail, my first steps felt like a relief. Yes, my pack was heavy, but the weight of the worry was gone. Oh my gosh, I finally made it to trail. What a morning. Oh, Well, the little detour went well, and I am now in a new pair of shoes. I have never used this brand before, but I'm just happy that I found a pair of closed-toed shoes that I could walk in, because yeah, my Birkenstocks just were not gonna cut it at all. I'm here in Tuolumne Meadows. I just started the trail. I'm probably about 5 miles out from Glen Aulin right now. I may be saying that wrong. Glen Aulin? Glen Aulin? Either way, I'm heading there, and it's gonna be a beautiful day. This trail starts at high elevation, around 8,600 feet, where the weather shifts quickly and every breath reminds me that I'm in the High Sierra. The path led me across a meadow, over a creek, past Soda Springs and Parsons Memorial Lodge. I popped inside to find a few people sitting at a table crafting handmade postcards. A gentle reminder that the wild has always inspired us to reach out and share. This terrain has been a dream. It makes me wonder why I ever did any backpacking trips climbing out of Yosemite Valley, because that is an ass kicker, my friends. This is just a lovely stroll in the woods. Oh. I'm loving this trail. This is incredible. Look at these peaks. I do have to take a second and give Clint from Not Lost Nomad, the YouTube channel, a big shout out because he recommended this trail, and I am so grateful. Thank you, Clint, because this is so cool. And like I said, elevation gain is easy, terrain easy. Just a nice trail right now, especially with the interesting start to the day today. Very grateful for this type of terrain and trail. So thanks again, Clint. I've been fangirling a little bit while walking on this trail because I just realized that this trail is actually the PCT. And like almost every spring when like the big chunk of PTC through hikers start their trail, they start vlogging. And I have been loving just like choosing a couple of people who create content that I enjoy and following their journey through the PCT. So I've seen a lot of this trail on video and lived vicariously through them a little bit on this trail, and it feels so incredible to actually be on the trail. Yeah, it's just exciting to get my feet on this trail and to walk this path that others have walked all the way from Mexico to Canada. It's just incredible. And it's crazy to know that if I kept walking long enough on this trail, I would make it to Canada. So cool. I stopped to eat a snack. I've been thinking about Pop-Tarts for like the last mile, so they need to get eaten right now. And drink some water. I'm gonna mix up some electrolytes and enjoy this overcast weather. It looks like more clouds are moving in, which I'm kind of excited about. I prefer the cooler weather. Here in the Tuolumne Meadows, the pace feels slower. The crowds are thinner, and it doesn't take long to feel like you are in the backcountry of Yosemite. The river was my constant companion, quiet, reflective, and shimmering with snowmelt from the previous winter. I paused often just to watch the water move. It was late in the season, but its journey carried a kind of grace, winding gently through the forest. This granite rock is so beautiful. Every time I'm here, I just soak it in because it's so unique and unlike anything around where I live. It kind of looks like we're getting weather coming in. The clouds are getting fluffier and bigger. But yeah, we'll just kind of have to see how that pans out. A few miles in, I reached a double bridge, where the river crashed over rocks into deep pools, alive with white water. Granite boulders framed the scene, a perfect place to linger, listen to the sound of the rushing water under an overcast sky. Beyond it, the river transformed, leaving behind the gentle meadows and tumbling into steep canyons, waterfall after waterfall. Soon after came Tuolumne Falls, a 50-foot drop, elegant and powerful. This stretch of trail is like two totally different stories woven together. One is soft and reflective, and the other is raw and untamed. What surprised me the most was how empty it felt. Moment after moment of awe, and hardly another hiker in sight. I hear a waterfall. I don't think I'm quite to Glen Aulin, but oh, there's a naked person over there. Okay. I'm really glad I didn't get that on video. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, let me show you this view at least, where there's no naked person. By late afternoon, I descended into Glen Aulin, my final destination for the day. I made a quick pit stop near the riverbank to soak in the beautiful view before I made my way up to Backpackers Camp. This is it. I'm taking this one. I found a shady spot near a giant slab of granite with a view of the beautiful peaks and the slight sound of a stream trickling nearby. This spot felt secluded, almost secret. Well, I made it. According to Strava, that was 7 miles, 4 hours, 17 minutes. I must have stopped a lot, probably more than I thought, I guess. So I'm currently at the Glen Aulin High Sierra Camp, and I'm next to Connis Creek. So I stayed left at the campground and hiked up above because Clint from Not Lost Nomad recommended me doing that. So I did, and thank you, Clint, yet again. All Trails is also saying 7 miles. I feel like this is the one time in history that All Trails and Strava agree on the distance. Once camp was set up, I made my way back down to Glen Aulin. Just a few others lounged on the riverbanks nearby. I eased into the water towards the pool below the White Cascade. The rocks were slick and the water was shockingly cold. It took a bit of convincing before I finally leapt in. The chill jolted my body, but then relief. Hours of hiking in the heat washed away, leaving me feeling completely renewed. Back on shore, I let the sun dry my skin and slowly ate lunch. I'm back in my tent after swimming in the waterfall and the river, and oh my gosh, it was freezing cold first of all, but it felt so good. I've been pretty warm today, it's pretty hot, and oh, that's exactly what I needed. I've got some stuff hanging up, my bathing suit and towel, so they can dry, hopefully before the rain starts. It feels so dang early to like be at camp doing nothing and just hanging out, but this is also a good switch of pace for me, and I'm like really enjoying that. So right now I'm just gonna chill out and eat. I was gonna bring a book and I didn't, and now I'm like pretty disappointed that I didn't. A book is like one of those luxury items that I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna use it. If I'm just hiking a big mile a day, there's absolutely zero time to read a book, but today was like 7 miles to get to my campsite, and then it's like almost a half a mile walk to the river from where I'm at, but it's worth it. I'm like nice and secluded. I have a beautiful view. So yeah, I'm just gonna chill. I'm gonna eat my honey stinger waffle and then my tuna and my chips. And I've been listening to Joe Rogan's podcast. It's been really fun, really entertaining. I'm a big fan of Joe Rogan. When I first left the LDS world, I was so naive to so many things, and Joe Rogan's podcast was one of those things that like really opened my mind to different ways of thinking and different ways of being, and the way he talks and the way he interviews his people like really dives into the nitty-gritty of what they're trying to share with the world and all of that stuff. So yeah, I've been a big fan of Joe Rogan's podcast for a decade now, maybe more. That's crazy. Time flies so fast. I really wish that I had brought a book, but instead I turned to something new. Writing postcards. It's starting to become a ritual of mine on these solo trips, sending a little piece of trail home to my friends and family. This practice feels like another kind of connection, a way of saying, I'm thinking about you even from here. I am getting ready to make dinner and just relax for the night. I've had so much downtime to myself this evening and this afternoon, and that feels totally uncharacteristic of any other backpacking trip I've done, but it also feels so good, so rejuvenating. It reminds me that I need more time like this to decompress, to just relax, not move, not be working on anything. It feels good to be out here. I am just about to start cooking dinner and like winding down for the evening, but I just wanted to create some space to talk about trail mastery. I have seen a large portion of people that like watching my content that don't actually get outdoors anymore and don't actually get to go experience things like this. And honestly, to me, that is heartbreaking, because being outside and having these experiences like literally shapes who I am. And to know that people are not able to get outside due to an injury, or just because they don't know how to condition themselves to be outdoors, or they don't know the exact steps that they need to take to be able to go outdoors. That's why I created this program, because I think that everyone deserves access to the outdoors. And if you're interested in checking out this program, or at least having a one-on-one conversation with me to see if this is a good fit for you, go ahead and fill out the application that's in the description below, and that will give you the opportunity to book a call with me, because I'm in the outdoors and reminded just how important nature is to my soul and human existence in general. And yeah, I think everyone deserves the ability to get outside. Okay, I am not super hungry right now, but I think I should definitely snack on some things. Or maybe just drink more water. I do feel a little dehydrated today. It was really hot, and I mean, some of it was shaded, but a lot of exposed trail. So I drank 2 electrolytes, and now I'm just like downing water. I should feel much better in a little bit, but that's kind of what I'm experiencing right now. The Glen Aulin High Sierra Camp has stood here since the 1920s, sitting at 7,800 feet. a place where humans and wilderness have long shared stories together. As evening set in, I thought about why I came to a place like this. It's not just for the views, it's for the reminder that nothing in life is fixed. Out here, everything flows. The rivers, the seasons, even me. Nature teaches that joy and struggle, beauty and hardship are all a part of the same rhythm. That change is the only constant, and we are not separate from it. We are it. This journey to Glen Aulin became one of those reminders, a story written in granite, waterfalls, and quiet miles. What a day. Started off a little rocky with not having my hiking shoes, but everything went surprisingly smooth. I was able to just go down to Mammoth Lakes, get a pair of shoes, and do a beautiful hike. Very easy, very nice terrain. Swim in a waterfall, swim in the river, and then just relax all afternoon. I'm really grateful that someone recommended I do this trip because I don't know that I would have done it myself, because usually I like pushing the big miles, but this trip is a good reminder that sometimes you don't have to hike very far to see some pretty amazing things and go to some amazing places. So I'm just feeling very grateful. Tomorrow I am interested to see what happens. I have some ideas, some loose plans, but really I'm just gonna go with how I feel. Get things kind of settled and ready for the evening. I already put my bear box away, already brushed my teeth. Everything is done with food and scented items, but I can organize stuff a little bit better inside my tent. So that's going to wrap up chapter 1 of this multi-chapter exploration here in Glen Aulin. There's something just so magical about Yosemite, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you guys for coming along on this adventure in Yosemite. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. Remember to subscribe to the channel, and be sure to tune back in next week so you can check out the rest of this experience. All right, I'll see you guys next week. Bye.